Life does not warn you before the storm arrives. One moment the sky is clear, and the next, the winds are howling, the waves are crashing, and everything you trusted feels unstable. Storms don't ask for permission. They show up in your finances, your relationships, your health, and your faith. But hear this clearly. The storm is not sent to destroy you. It is sent to reveal what you're standing on. Anyone can praise when the sun is shining. Anyone can smile when the road is smooth. But maturity is proven when you can stay steady while everything around you is shaking. The storm tests your roots, not your worth. If you are rooted deep enough, the wind may bend you, but it will not break you. Being steady does not mean you are fearless. It means you've learned how to stand even while your knees are shaking. It means you've decided not to let panic make your decisions. The storm will try to rush you, pressure you, and push you into reactions that don't align with your purpose. But stability comes when you choose wisdom over worry and faith over fear. Some storms last longer than you expected. You prayed, you waited, and the clouds are still there. But endurance is built in prolonged pressure. The longer the storm, the stronger the structure being formed inside you. You are not delayed. You are being developed. What feels like resistance is actually preparation. Do not confuse calmness with weakness. Staying steady is strength under control. It is the power to keep moving forward when quitting would be easier. The storm does not get the final word. It may shape you, stretch you, and humble you, but it will not define you. When the storm passes, and you will not just survive it, you will come out with clearer vision, stronger faith, and deeper confidence. You will realize that the very thing you thought would drown you actually taught you how to stand. Stay steady. The storm is temporary, but what it builds in you is permanent. The storm reveals your foundation in ways that comfort never could. When everything around you is calm, it is easy to believe that what you've built is strong. It is easy to feel confident when there is no pressure testing your decisions, your faith, or your discipline. But storms have a way of pulling back the surface and exposing what lies underneath. They show you whether you built your life on something solid or something temporary. When the winds rise and the waves crash, whatever is weak will begin to shift, crack, or collapse. That is not cruelty, it is clarity. A strong foundation is not built in moments of excitement, but in seasons of consistency. It is formed in the daily choices that no one applauds, the quiet obedience when quitting would be easier, and the discipline to do what is right even when it feels unrewarded. Storms do not create weakness, they reveal it. If something falls apart under pressure, it was already unstable before the storm arrived. The pressure simply made it visible. That realization can be painful, but it is also a gift because you cannot strengthen what you refuse to acknowledge. Many people try to escape storms. Instead of learning from them, they blame the wind, curse the rain, and ask why life is unfair. But the storm is not the enemy. The storm is the examiner. It asks hard questions. What do you believe when your prayers feel unanswered? What do you trust when your resources run out? Who are you when the support disappears and the applause fades? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are necessary. They separate surface level confidence from deep-rooted conviction. Foundations are built below ground where no one sees the work. They require digging, patience, and endurance. You don't build a foundation by stacking quick fixes or chasing emotional highs. You build it by going deep, deep in character, deep in wisdom, deep in faith, deep in self-awareness. This kind of depth takes time. It means confronting fears instead of avoiding them, addressing habits instead of excusing them, and making changes instead of repeating cycles. Storms expose whether you've done that work or avoided it. When a storm hits, it doesn't care about your intentions. It responds only to your preparation. Good intentions won't keep you standing when pressure increases. Preparation will. That is why two people can face the same storm and have completely different outcomes. One collapses while the other stands firm. The difference is not talent, luck, or background. The difference is foundation. One built on something stable, while the other built on convenience, emotion, or approval. A weak foundation often looks strong in peaceful seasons. Success, popularity, or comfort can hide instability for a long time. But storms strip away the illusion. They remove distractions and force you to face reality. This can feel like failure, but it is actually an invitation to rebuild correctly. If something shakes, it is giving you information. It is telling you where reinforcement is needed. It is pointing out areas that require strengthening before you move forward. There is humility in recognizing that your foundation needs work. Pride resists correction, but wisdom embraces it. Storms humble us by reminding us that we are not as self-sufficient as we thought. They push us to seek wisdom, lean on faith, and reconnect with what truly matters. They shift our focus from external validation to internal stability. In that sense, storms don't just reveal your foundation, they refine it. As pressure increases, what is deeply rooted becomes more evident. Values show up in decisions, beliefs show up in behavior, faith shows up in endurance. You discover what truly anchors you when everything else is uncertain. If your foundation is strong, the storm may exhaust you, but it will not erase you. You may bend, but you will not break. And when the storm passes, you will still be standing, stronger, wiser, and more grounded than before. If the storm reveals cracks, that does not mean you are disqualified. It means you are being given an opportunity to rebuild with intention. Strong foundations are not about perfection. They are about alignment. They are built when your values match your actions, when your words align with your lifestyle, and when your faith is practiced, not just spoken. Rebuilding takes courage because it requires honesty. But honesty is the first step towards stability. Over time, storms teach you to invest in what lasts. You stop building your life on opinions that change, circumstances that shift, or emotions that fluctuate. You begin to anchor yourself in truth, discipline, and purpose. You learn that real strength is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted. When the next storm comes, and it will, you are not surprised by the wind. You are ready for it. In the end, the storm becomes a witness to your growth. It shows how far you've come and how deeply you've been rooted. What once shook you no longer controls you. What once threatened to collapse your life now only tests what you already know, that your foundation is strong enough to hold you steady no matter how fierce the storm becomes. Stability is a choice, not a feeling, and this truth becomes most evident when the storm is at its loudest. Feelings are unreliable in times of pressure. One moment you may feel confident, and the next moment fear, doubt, and anxiety begin to rise. If stability depended on how you felt, no one would remain standing for long. Storms are designed to shake emotions, cloud judgment, and provoke reactions. That is why stability must be anchored in decision, not emotion. You do not wait to feel steady. You decide to be steady, even when everything inside you feels settled. Choosing stability means refusing to let panic take control. Panic demands immediate action, often without wisdom or reflection. It pushes you to speak too quickly, decide too fast, and move without clarity. In the middle of a storm, panic feels productive, but it usually creates more damage than the storm itself. Stability, on the other hand, slows you down. It allows you to breathe, observe, and respond instead of react. This choice does not remove the storm, but it changes how you move through it. Many people confuse stability with the absence of struggle, but true stability exists in the presence of struggle. You can be steady while your heart is heavy and your mind is tired. Stability is not pretending that everything is fine. It is choosing not to be ruled by chaos. It is the inner discipline that says, I will not allow this moment to define me. This discipline is built over time through repeated choices to remain grounded even when it would be easier to give in to fear. When the storm hits, your mind becomes a battlefield. Thoughts race, worst case scenarios play on repeat. And doubt tries to convince you that this moment is permanent. Choosing stability means challenging those thoughts instead of accepting them as truth. It means reminding yourself that storms pass, circumstances change, and this moment, no matter how intense, does not have the authority to determine your future. Stability begins when you take control of your inner dialogue and refuse to let fear narrate your story. Stability also requires patience, which is one of the hardest choices to make under pressure. Storms create urgency. They make you feel like you must fix everything immediately or risk losing everything. But patience understands that some solutions take time. Some answers come slowly. Some doors do not open until the storm has done its work. Choosing patience in a storm is an act of faith. It is trusting that rushing ahead without clarity can be more harmful than waiting with intention. Another aspect of choosing stability is maintaining alignment with your values. Storms test integrity. They tempt you to compromise, to take shortcuts, or to abandon principles in exchange for quick relief. Stability says, I will not sacrifice who I am to escape what I'm going through. This choice preserves your character, even when circumstances are uncomfortable. It ensures that when the storm ends, you recognize yourself and are not ashamed of the decisions you made under pressure. Stability is also choosing consistency when everything feels unpredictable. Small, steady actions become anchors, chaotic seasons. Getting up when you don't feel like it, staying disciplined when motivation is gone, and continuing to show up even when progress seems invisible. These choices create structure in the storm. You may not be able to control the wind, but you can control how you stand in it. Consistency builds confidence, reminding you that you still have agency even in difficult times. There will be moments when choosing stability feels unnatural. Your emotions may resist it. Your circumstances may challenge it. Others may even misunderstand it. They may expect dramatic reactions or emotional displays, but stability often looks quiet and unimpressive. It is the calm decision to stay focused while others are distracted. It is the strength to pause when everyone expects you to panic. This kind of strength does not seek attention, but it carries you through the storm with dignity. Choosing stability does not mean isolating yourself or denying support. In fact, part of stability is knowing when to lean on others without becoming dependent on them. It is recognizing that asking for help is not weakness, but wisdom. Stability allows you to receive guidance, counsel, and encouragement while still taking responsibility for your own choices. It keeps you from collapsing under the weight of pride or fear. As time passes, the repeated choice to remain steady reshapes you. What once felt forced becomes natural. What once required effort becomes instinct. You begin to trust yourself more because you have proven that you can remain grounded even when life is uncertain. This trust builds resilience. You stop being easily shaken because you have learned that feelings come and go, but decisions shape outcomes. In the end, stability as a choice empowers you. It shifts you from being a victim of circumstance to an active participant in your own growth. The storm may still rage, but it no longer controls your direction. You move with intention, guided by wisdom rather than emotion. And when the storm finally passes, you realize that the greatest victory was not surviving the external chaos, but mastering the internal one. Endurance is formed in the places where comfort ends and pressure begins. Growth does not happen when everything is easy, predictable, and safe. It happens when you are required to keep going even though you are tired, uncertain, and stretched beyond what you thought you could handle. Long-lasting storms have a unique purpose. They teach you how to endure. They slow life down and remove quick escapes so that something deeper can be built inside you. What feels like delay is often development happening at a level you cannot immediately see. When a storm lasts longer than expected, it begins to challenge your expectations. You start asking why progress is slow and why relief hasn't arrived yet. This is where many people give up, not because they are incapable, but because they misinterpret endurance as failure. In reality, endurance is evidence that something is being strengthened. Muscles grow by resistance, not by ease. In the same way, inner strength is formed by sustained pressure. Every moment you choose to continue, even when results are invisible, you are becoming stronger. Endurance teaches patience in a world that demands speed. Modern life trains us to expect instant results, immediate answers, and quick fixes. Storms disrupt that rhythm. They force you to wait, to sit with uncertainty, and to trust without clear timelines. This waiting is uncomfortable, but it is essential. It teaches you how to remain faithful to the process even when the outcome is unclear. Over time, patience reshapes how you view progress. You stop measuring growth only by visible success and start recognizing internal maturity as real advancement. Prolonged storms also expose motives. When the journey becomes hard, superficial reasons for continuing begin to fade. If your motivation is rooted only in reward, recognition, or comfort, endurance becomes impossible. But if your purpose is deeper, you find strength to keep going. Endurance clarifies why you started and whether your commitment is strong enough to withstand hardship. It refines your focus and strips away distractions, leaving only what truly matters. As endurance develops, resilience follows. You learn that discomfort does not automatically mean danger. You discover that you can feel overwhelmed and still function, feel discouraged and still move forward. This realization is powerful. It breaks the illusion that you must feel strong in order to be strong. Instead, you learn that strength is revealed through action, not emotion. Every step taken under pressure reinforces your ability to withstand future challenges. Endurance also reshapes identity. You stop seeing yourself as fragile and start recognizing your capacity to persist. This shift changes how you approach future storms. What once intimidated you now feels familiar. Not because the storm is easier, but because you are stronger. You begin to trust your ability to survive difficulty without losing yourself in it. That trust becomes a source of confidence that no external circumstance can take away. Long-term pressure has a way of teaching wisdom. Quick solutions often bypass understanding, but endurance requires reflection. You begin to observe patterns, learn lessons, and make adjustments. You gain insight not just about the situation, but about yourself. You discover limits you didn't know existed and strengths you didn't know you possessed. This self-awareness becomes a tool that serves you long after the storm has passed. Endurance also deepens gratitude. When you have walked through extended difficulty, small victories become meaningful. Peace feels richer. Stability feels valuable. You no longer take calm moments for granted because you remember the chaos. This perspective grounds you and keeps you humble. It reminds you that growth often comes disguised as struggle, and that what you survived contributed to who you became. There are moments in prolonged storms when quitting feels logical. You may reason that leaving would protect you from further pain, but endurance teaches you the difference between wisdom and escape. It helps you discern when to rest and when to persist. Endurance does not mean ignoring limits or refusing help. It means remaining committed even while adjusting your pace. It is the strength to continue without hardening your heart. When the storm finally lifts, the transformation becomes clear. You are not the same person who entered it. You think differently, respond differently, and stand differently. What once overwhelmed you now informs you. The storm did not just pass through your life, it shaped it. Endurance turned pressure into preparation and difficulty into depth. In the end, growth produced through endurance is lasting. It is not dependent on favorable conditions or external validation. It is internal, steady, and reliable. You carry it with you into every new season. The storm may have been temporary, but the strength it built is permanent, equipping you to face whatever comes next with greater wisdom, courage, and confidence. Thank you for watching.